These are the Bonneville Salt Flats. This is the world's fastest racing surface. Here each summer gather the world's hottest hot rods. Their goal is pure speed, and the ultimate mark, 400 miles per hour. In recent years, a young American named Mickey Thompson has become the most talked about man in speed history. He has become the world's fastest automobile driver in a backyard machine he built himself and christened the Challenger. The Bonneville Salt Flats lie some 120 miles west of Utah's Salt Lake City. The speed-minded know it well, none so well as Marion Mickey Thompson, who has been competing in different speed classes on the Salt for the past 11 years. His ultimate goal has been the magic 400 mile per hour mark, reached by England's John Cobb in 1947. Thompson has built the Challenger with that 400 mile per hour goal in mind. His 1960 appearance on the Salt attracted a great deal of attention in the speed world. Thompson is a 32-year-old master mechanic from El Monte, California. He has competed in every form of automobile racing. Thompson's crew has been hand-picked. Under the direction of Chief Mechanic Fritz Voigt, they came to Bonneville in 1960 uniquely qualified to make their attack on the 400 mile per hour mark. Each man handled a particular job in the intricate setting up of the Challenger. The crew had complete confidence in the Challenger and in Thompson. The previous year, under his hand, the car had reached a peak speed of 367 miles per hour to earn for Thompson the title of America's fastest man on wheels. The Challenger weighs close to 7,000 pounds. It is powered by 4 supercharged Pontiac engines, each capable of delivering 750 horsepower. Twin parachutes brake the car in the high speed ranges. The smallest diameter tires ever built for this type of run are used in order to give the car the smallest possible frontal area, a vital factor in aerodynamic design. Thompson and Voigt are perfectionists. The Challenger was torn down time after time, and each part of the engine was tested a dozen times before the car's first run. The tires, with a mere 20 thousandths of an inch tread, represent a new concept in tire development. Thompson's crew had worked long hours during the winter in readying the car. In August, they matched that time on the Salt Flats. Early during Thompson's 1960 days on the Salt Flats, while the crew was putting the finishing touches on the car, Thompson realized he had troubles. There were factors he found he could not control. A dry summer had left the Salt rough and cracked. Thompson knew that at 400 miles per hour, a pitted surface could tilt him into eternity. Yet after consulting with Voigt, he decided to try it. There are 4 gas tanks under the hood of the Challenger, 1 for each engine. A special racing fuel powers the car. Thompson has made some rough figures on the mileage he gets from his Mammoth power plant and jokingly refers to the Challenger as his 2 gallons per mile economy car. Thompson's wife, Judy, is a familiar sight on the Salt. She accompanies her husband wherever his speed runs take him. One spot she stays away from, the inside of the Challenger. Thompson is virtually hand-fitted into the cockpit. He drives the car from a semi-reclining position. Voigt drives the push car that gives the Challenger its start. The Bonneville course is 11 miles long, and in the 5th mile, Thompson hopes to hit his peak speed. Electronic timing devices record his entry and departure through the measured mile to determine an average speed. Thompson's first run over the salt confirmed his worst fears about the condition of the track. The trip was a nightmare for the gutty Californian. The Challenger has no suspension system, and each crack in the salt assumes gigantic proportions. The condition of the salt was to haunt Thompson for the next 3 weeks. It was an angry Thompson who called a halt to proceedings until the salt could be put into running condition. Voigt agreed with him that to attempt to push the Challenger into the high-speed ranges now could only result in trouble. The decision was made to pull the car back into nearby Windover to correct some flaws in its handling. Meanwhile, the salt could be reworked. The tedious job of repairing the track surface was begun. The majority of the early work was done by members of Thompson's crew and the handful of speed enthusiasts that followed the Californian struggle. Loose salt was mixed with water and spread like cement. Hours later, under the searing sun, it would dry to concrete-like hardness. The Utah State Highway Commission moved in to help with a specially constructed drag rail. Mile by mile, the course was readied for high-speed operation. The black stripe that constitutes Thompson's lifeline down the middle of the track was freshly laid. The black stripe is his only guide. Meanwhile, the crew tested the airflow characteristics of the design by placing cotton cords on the car and running it under the camera. As a result of the test, a metal spoiler was added to the hood to prevent lift Thompson suspected he was getting. On September 9th, nearly 1 month after his first run, Thompson brought the Challenger to the salt at dawn, only to find gusts of wind up to 12 miles per hour keeping him from any high-speed attempts. The mile signs had been remarked for him, and the course appeared reasonably good. So Thompson elected to wait out the wind. The electronic timing devices received their usual thorough checks from United States Auto Club officials. All timing for record runs is done by USAC in this country. The crew had long grown accustomed to the vagaries of the elements on the salt and continued last-minute checks. Voigt himself checked the parachute release gear. The chute that brakes Thompson when he is running at speed is triggered from within the cockpit. Work on the car continued as the crew waited for a break in the wind. Gusts over 5 miles per hour are unsafe for ultra-high-speed runs. Bearings are checked closely both before and after every run. Between runs, they are packed in ice to lessen the effects of the torturous high-speed punishment they absorb. Voigt's practice is to check the tires while inspecting the bearings. A further check is made by rubber company engineers. At 9:30 that morning, Chief Stewart Petrelli called Thompson to the middle of the course. He pointed out to the California speedster that the wind had dropped below the danger point. Each of the phones located at the mile markers throughout the 11-mile course had reported all clear. Thompson elected to run. Thompson was to run from the southwest end of the course. Judy and Voigt were on hand to give him the assistance he needs to enter the coffin-like cockpit. Thompson must be shoehorned into the cramped quarters. His leather suit, worn as a protection against fire, causes the perspiration to run freely once the top clicks shut on Thompson. A kiss from Judy has become part of the takeoff ritual with Thompson. He is a proud man who reckons he has traveled better than 300 miles at speeds in excess of 350 miles per hour. Yet, like most race drivers, he is also a superstitious man, and there are certain procedures that he insists be followed with religious-like devotion. The oxygen mask is a vital part of Thompson's gear. It offers a measure of protection against fumes, and in the past has saved his life. The time-consuming process of strapping Thompson into the cockpit is one that both he and Voight would like to avoid. It increases the tensions of an already overly tense business. Yet it is something that Thompson has had to put up with and has learned to live with. It is when the cockpit clicks shut that Thompson's lonely vigil begins. The decision to tromp on the accelerator or to turn down the Challenger's power plant must be made before he reaches the 5th or measured mile. Perhaps only Judy knew the decision that faced her husband that morning. The month-long separation from their 2 children was wearing on her husband. Critics were beginning to scoff. Thompson made his decision that morning and elected to stand on the accelerator. The decision really is a monument of sorts to an American hot rodder's ingenuity and determination. The sleek, streamlined Challenger roared through the measured mile at 406.6 miles per hour and earned for Thompson the title of the world's fastest automotive driver. Minutes after Thompson's breathtaking feat, wire services and radio stations were pushing the news across an astonished nation. It would seem enough for any man, yet Thompson wants more. He is still intent on smashing the 2-way record of 394 miles per hour set by the late John Cobb of England in 1947. So, he'll be back for more. An old man watching Thompson said, "You know, I believe that boy. He looks like speed."